Welcome to the Admin Study Room. Today, we're diving into a really core skill for any systems administrator, and that's deploying Windows using on-premises tools. If you've ever thought about the challenge of getting hundreds of new computers ready for an organization without sitting at every single one, well, stick around. We are absolutely going to demystify that whole process for you.
And just a quick heads up on who's guiding you today. We're your AI study partners. Our only goal here is to take these pretty complex deployment topics and make them totally clear, getting you prepped for that MD-102 exam.
This is an independent, unofficial MD-102 study presentation based on Microsoft's public Learn content. It is not affiliated, authorized, sponsored, or approved by Microsoft.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine this mission lands on your desk. You've got 500 brand new PCs, and they all need to be deployed, configured, and totally ready for users. It sounds like a monster of a task, right? Where do you even begin? Well, this is the exact challenge we're going to break down step by step into a really clear and manageable process.
So, before you even think about deploying a single operating system, your first job is reconnaissance. You've got to scout the terrain, really understand your environment, and prepare for the whole operation. Honestly, this is the step that prevents about 90% of future headaches.
Now, this whole scouting phase, it's officially known as a readiness assessment. But here's the thing. This is not just about making a checklist. It's about actively surveying your hardware, your software, your network, all of it, to make sure your deployment plan is built on solid ground. Skipping this step is kind of like trying to build a house without checking the foundation first. It's just a recipe for disaster.
The good news is you don't have to do all this scouting by hand. Microsoft gives you some really powerful tools. Take the Map Toolkit, for example. It's an agentless inventory tool. It'll scan your network and tell you exactly which PCs don't have enough RAM for Windows 11. Then you've got Endpoint Analytics, which gives you real-world data on performance, like which apps are always crashing. And for those critical, older applications, the Application Compatibility Toolkit, or ACT, helps you test and fix issues. And if you get really stuck, the Desktop App Assure program is a Microsoft service that can actually help you with remediation.
Okay, so this leads us to a really fundamental choice you have to make. Are you going to use thin images or thick images? Let's use an analogy. A thin image is like an empty apartment. It's got the bare-bones OS, and that's it. It's flexible, it's smaller, and it's way easier to update because you add the furniture, your apps, later on. A thick image, on the other hand, is a fully furnished apartment. The OS, the drivers, and all your software are pre-installed. This makes it much faster to deploy to a user. But, and this is a big but, if a critical app needs an update, you have to create a whole new furnished apartment, meaning a whole new image. So a thick image might be perfect for, say, bank tellers who all use the same 5 apps. But for a team of developers who all need unique tools, a thin image is definitely your best friend.
All right, so you've scouted the terrain, you've picked your imaging strategy, now it's time for step 2. We're going to forge the master key itself, your golden Windows image.
And for this job, your go-to tool is the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, or MDT. The best way to think of it is as your workshop. And the best part? It's a free and incredibly powerful set of scripts and tools designed specifically for creating and customizing Windows images, all without needing some massive, expensive server infrastructure.
The process in MDT follows a really clear logical path. You start by creating a deployment share. Think of this as your central library, where all your assets live. Then you import your stuff into that library, your OS, your drivers, your applications. But the real magic happens when you create a task sequence. This is the heart and soul of MDT. It's the automated recipe, the step-by-step script that tells the computer exactly what to do. Partition the disk, apply the OS, install Microsoft Office, join the domain, everything. Now, it's really crucial to understand this. MDT is what we call semi-automated. It doesn't just magically deploy to machines on its own. An administrator still has to kick off the process, usually by booting a PC from a USB drive or over the network using something called PXE boot. But once you hit go, that task sequence you built takes over and does all the heavy lifting for you.
So, you forged the perfect image. That's awesome. But deploying it to 5, 10, maybe even 50 machines with a USB stick is one thing. How do you launch the entire fleet of 500? Well, this is where we really need to scale up our operation.
And for that, we turn to Microsoft Configuration Manager. Look, if MDT is the craftsman's workshop for building one perfect car, then Config MGR is the fully automated factory assembly line that can produce thousands.
It is the enterprise command center for deploying not just the OS, but for managing apps, updates, and compliance across your entire fleet for years to come.
So how does it work? Well, Configuration Manager is built on a few core components. You've got the site server, which is basically the brain of the whole operation. The management point, or MP, acts like an air traffic controller, giving policy and instructions to all the devices. The distribution point, or DP, is like your local warehouse. It stores all the images and software so clients on that site can download them really quickly. And finally, the software update point, or SUP, plugs into your update services to manage all your Windows patching from one central place.
And the actual workflow is really pretty elegant. It all starts with a collection, which is just a logical group of devices like all laptops in the finance department. You then assign a policy, like a new OS image or an application, to that collection. The content gets pushed out to a distribution point, and then the clients in that collection see the new policy and execute the task. It's targeted, it's scalable, and it's highly automated.
So let's kind of bring it all together and summarize this on-prem toolkits you have. It really just boils down to two main solutions, and knowing the difference between them is absolutely key.
This comparison right here is so important. You use MDT as your image-building workshop and for smaller, more hands-on deployments. It's lean, it's effective, and it's free. But when you need enterprise-scale, full automation, and ongoing management for thousands and thousands of machines, that's when you bring in the factory, Configuration Manager. Knowing which tool to use for the job is a concept you really need to grasp.
This is a study aid, not official exam guidance. Always verify important details against the latest Microsoft documentation.
So there you have it. We've gone all the way from scouting the terrain to forging an image, and finally, to launching an entire fleet. You now have the map for on-prem deployment. The only question left is, which challenge are you going to solve first? Thanks for joining us today. Keep digging into these concepts, and good luck with your studies.